And here we go. Welcome everybody to The Big Idea. I'm Dr. Jeffrey Hanna. Today we are talking about doom scrolling, why it is, number one, so addictive, number two, why it is so bad for you, especially little kids, but then more importantly, number three, what is a much better and calming alternative that you are able to actually do so that you're not going to be able to be stuck in this loop and actually break the cycle. It is easier said than done, but really important as I'm going to illustrate. So let's have a look at this for you. All right, first thing, I'm going to hit a little bit of neurology here for you. This would be a cut slice of what's known as the midbrain, because when you are mindlessly scrolling on your phone, this is the part that is going to be most activated. And the reason that this becomes activated has to do with up and down vertical eye movements. Have you noticed, whether it's going to be Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, that all of them use a vertical scroll? Do you think that that is an accident? That is not an accident. This is a phenomenon that was discovered a long time ago, guess what, by Las Vegas, the casino owners, and the poker machines, or the slot machines, if you would. In brief, that when the eyes are doing vertical up and down scrolling like this, it is going to stimulate these particular centers of the brain. And not only is it eye movement, but it's a lot of areas that are firing at the exact same time because they're close proximity. So number one, what do we have here? And don't worry, I'm not going to read this out loud or point out all of these little spots here. But number one, the substantia nigra. This is the center of your brain that produces dopamine. Dopamine is the pleasure hormone that, number one, makes us feel really good, but also is going to activate different centers in the brain that go toward reward and also addictive behaviors. In addition to that, we've got another area that's called the locus coeruleus. This is our fight, flight, freeze, or response, and has to do with modulating senses of anxiety. So when we get spikes of dopamine, it's oftentimes going to decrease the sense of anxiety. However, and this is why this is such an important idea, is because if you are simply using dopamine to overcome an anxiety response, you need ever increasingly high amounts of dopamine in order to actually have an anti-anxiety response in the brain for our physiology. And long term, that is not going to be good for us, because then we are always going to be chasing that next hit, that next kick, so that we can just have that sedatory effect so that we start feeling better. And again, all this is coming from vertical eye movements, specifically what's known as an ocular motor nucleus, and also this other one, a nucleus of Cajal. That has to do with eye stabilization, again, up and down movements. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't be using your phone whatsoever, but you need to be aware of this, that when you are doing continual scrolling like this, it's activating these centers of the brain. Yes, you're getting a dopamine spike, but it's also activating these other things, and it's starting to feed into an addictive cycle. And I think you can appreciate then why this would be so bad if you are giving kids phones, tablets that have this built-in social media, this forward feed mechanism here. Because rather than developing normal and healthy behaviors for adapting to anxious situations or stressful situations, kids learn from that youngest of age that if they can have that dopamine spike, that's going to make them feel better. But that's the thing, it's only going to make them feel better in the moment, and you're going to need ever increasing amounts of that as you become a teenager, as you become an adult, just to sedate the system. That is not going to be good for our ability to function as human beings, to actually be able to calm the system down, to stop overloading it with too much traffic. We need a completely different strategy for that. Now, ironically, you can actually use your eyes to do the exact same thing, but it's in a very different kind of way. Now this silly little video far better illustrates what you can do to actually help calm the nerves in a way that is not going to feed into that addictive cycle. What you can see here is an example, and here's what the instruction is you pick one person, and let's grab the little mouse there, and simply follow with your eyes only as this person goes from left to the right and then back from right to left. There are a lot of ways that this can be done, but this is what's known as an EMDR exercise. So eye movement desensitization and retraining, because the midbrain, like I showed you, that's involved with vertical eye movements. The horizontal gaze, side to side like that, that's actually going to be located more in the medulla. That's associated with the parasympathetic response, which is the genuine repair, rest, digest system. It's going to activate the brain in a way that's not going to produce an abnormal or addictive response, but more of a calming or a sedentary response that doesn't feed into that sense of anxiety. And this is why different exercises that you can find online about EMDR, they have you simply tracking an object moving left and right, side to side. Or again, you have a little video like this that is doing eye movements going side to side like that. But you'll note, remember how all of the apps have vertical scrolling? Find me an app that actually has horizontal scrolling. They're not going to have that, because this type of behavior, even though it's good, it's not addictive. So if you want a person to get hooked on technology, you know you need to have it vertical like this. What you want to do then, and I'm not saying don't look at your phones here, but I am saying if you find yourself in that mindless up and down doom scrolling state, you want to balance it out by doing horizontal gaze movements like this. In addition, that can be done to help if you're ever having a little bit too much anxiety, rather than trying to calm yourself down using social media. On the alternative, you're going to want to use something like this that can actually help bring your brain, your physiology to a better and healthier state of equilibrium. So doom scrolling, not a good thing, because it soft wires our brain and sets the stage for addictive personalities, where we need all the more dopamine, the more stimulation to try to sedate ourselves, rather than using more productive ways of actually balancing our physiology. So horizontal eye movement, that can be a really useful trick to help you out here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you found it interesting, please make sure you share this with friends, family members. If you want some more information on basic functional neurology or different kinds of health conditions that might be related to the neck, to the eyes, to the jaw, things like that, you can check out our clinic website, which is clearchirospokane.com, where we've got links to all other kinds of videos here to help you out with your health, and also a variety of articles on different kinds of conditions that we can help people with. Thanks for watching. This is Dr. Jeffrey Hanna at Clear Chiropractic. Get well, live well, stay well.